everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Waiting for the rain to come in, so that's where we are. Some of you are getting the snow right now, and some of you are in sweltering hot weather, depending on where you are in this world. So anyway, let's get to our lesson. Waiting too long. Several years ago there's a book came out with the title, Don't Wait Until You Are Thirsty to Dig Your Well. And the book is about planning for the future and teaches us a good lesson while doing so. So don't wait to start taking vitamins and eating right until you need surgery. Don't wait to buy insurance until you have an accident. And don't wait for your children to grow up before you start teaching them the important things. And don't wait until retirement age to prepare for retirement. See, most of what we do in life requires a measure of preparation. And so students need to study before the test. Sports teams practice before they get on the playing field. And doctors learn through internships before they are allowed to practice medicine. See, the discipline to prepare is usually too much to deal with for a lot of people, and most people are not prepared for anything this life brings them. And so don't wait until you get on your deathbed before you decide to turn to God. And by then it'll be too late. So this last one is a problem for millions of people. They live like there is no God, and as they realize they are going to die, all of a sudden decide to get religious. And for most, this is too late to start living for God, because that's what He wants. He wants us to live for Him, not just die for Him, but live for Him. And while a few might be successful at turning to God late in life, as some have, I'm aware of that, but this is not usually the case. And definitely it's not by doing a deathbed confession. There's no support for that in the scriptures. And so most people will leave this world with the intent of getting right with God before it's too late. And of course they usually fail because their life has been molded and they're not willing to make those changes. And since we do not know when that time will come, most people are unprepared to meet their God anyway. See, there's a song we sing that expresses this thought very well. You know, some of you are familiar with it. Careless soul, why will you linger, wandering from the fold of God? Hear you now the invitation, oh, prepare to meet thy God. And so as we sing that song, it's a beautiful song, and it's a good invitation song. And the chorus of the song goes like this: Careless soul, oh, heed the warning, for your life will soon be gone. Oh, how sad to face the judgment, unprepared to meet thy God. So, that kind of expresses the whole thought of this lesson in just a few words. And the thing is, we can warn people of the danger facing them. We can warn them if they're on the wrong pathway, if they're on that broad pathway that leads to destruction. We can warn them. But the problem is, if they have no desire to live the way God wants them to live, they will not listen. They'll just pass it off. Well, yeah, and they might even acknowledge, well, I know that's the right thing to do, but I'm not ready. I'll do it later, or something like that. Or I just don't want to hear anything like that right now. That's how people are. And so that's why Jesus said there will be few that enter the straight and narrow, because it's something you have to strive for. You have to work for. And usually by the time we get up in age, we don't feel like striving for anything except maybe to reach for the remote or get something out of the refrigerator to eat. So yeah, our desires are not as strong as they used to be, except the things that we really want for ourselves. And so most people are not going to listen. And of course, the person who disregards warnings, they're in peril. They're doing something, it's dangerous, they could hurt themselves. And yeah, we've seen this. We see it on YouTube, we see it on Facebook, we see it And other times when people are doing things they shouldn't be doing, like the guy that walks out on the frozen pond and starts jumping up and down on the ice. I mean, yeah, eventually, as we see it, they usually go through. And then all of a sudden their life is in danger, because if they're not out in just a couple of minutes, they're going to die from hypothermia. So, and of course, the person who disregards warnings, I mean, they do it all the time. Sometimes they're going to stick their tongue up to a electrified fence. Do stuff like that. And it's dangerous for them. And everybody knows it's dangerous, but you know what? They get zapped, they get hurt, and guess what? As we're watching it on the videos, ha ha ha. Well, they got what they had coming to them. And some people, they do stupid things like get out too close to the edge of a cliff, and all of a sudden maybe the ground gives way or it's slippery where they are, and just gone. Just like that. I mean, with no warning. They just do dumb stuff. And so trying to get as close to the edge of a cliff as you can, I consider to be a dumb thing. You should be staying away from the cliff. And so these people, they get injured, they get burned because of their foolishness, and sometimes because of their stupidity. And so that's really what it comes down to. So we're warned, do not be like the fool who declares there is no God. You know, Psalm 53:1 and Psalm 14:1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. And do not be like the fool that shuns instruction from the Lord. I mean, we have several passages in the Psalms that talks about that. Those who will not listen to the instructions of the Lord, they're foolish. And one version even says, yeah, they're stupid. Okay, yeah, there's the S word that people don't like their children to hear. But even the Bible says people who don't heed the instructions from the Lord are stupid. In fact, really, if you don't heed the instructions from any source of authority, it's kind of stupid, because if you don't obey the law, you can get arrested. If you don't follow the instructions, you won't get what you want, or you'll get something different than what you were expecting. And so, do not be like the fool who refuses discipline. You know, we see this a lot, and I see this in the younger generation a whole lot more. Some kids, I mean, anywhere from 4 all the way up to 20. I mean, they're like this. They don't like discipline. They're not going to do what they're told to do. They're going to do what they want to do, and they don't care. And they follow the example of their friends who are ignoring the law, breaking the law, and they just keep doing it. Why? Well, everybody else is doing it. And that's the mentality that they have. And the problem is, parents have not taught them to think responsibly. And yes, we place the blame on the parents. And sadly, in our society, they're okay with single-parent households or parents who really don't care about their children. Remember the picture on Facebook where 20 years ago, the teacher told the parents the child did something, they started yelling at the child. Now the teacher tells parents something, they start yelling at the teacher. And that's just the way things are these days. And it's really a sad situation. And it's not going to help anybody get to heaven when they have this type of attitude. And so, let's face it, we all do dumb stuff in our lives. I know there's many times I've done some dumb stuff, and I'm just thankful to God that He saw me through it. I mean, yeah, I did some dumb stuff, and a lot of us have. And sometimes we realize just how lucky we are to be alive today. Yes, sometimes I've taken some jobs that put my life in peril. I mean, doing some things that a lot of people would consider extremely dangerous. But yet, when you're in a very dangerous situation, you take precautions. When you think about it, when you look at safety record of companies that have the most danger are usually some of the safest to work in, because they are constantly reinforcing the potential of danger and telling people to watch out what they're doing, and they have procedures and protocols in place to keep that from happening. It's things that people aren't thinking of from time to time, where there's moving parts going around, there's forklifts moving around, there's other equipment moving around, and they don't pay attention and they get hurt. So think about that. Where the more danger is, people are more aware of the danger and the consequences of doing something wrong. So take consideration of your soul. You know, your soul is important, and you got to be prepared to meet your God, because you will meet God. There's no doubt about that. You know, Hebrews 9:27, it is appointed for man once to die, and after this the judgment. And several times in the New Testament it says we will all stand before the judgment seat of God. You know, Jesus said it, the apostles said it, and yes, we're going to stand before God and give an account of what we did in our life. So that's what's important for us right now. You're still living. You have the opportunity to get things right with God now. You better do it now, because as we read in James 4, we're not promised tomorrow. I mean, as it says, our life is but a vapor. We're here for a little bit. And after we die, our memory is only going to last as long as maybe our grandchildren. After that, nobody's going to care about us. Not at all. None of our family's going to care about us after our grandchildren are gone and they've forgotten us, or they haven't been exposed to us. So yes, consider what you're doing right now, and start considering thinking about doing something about it. Do not wait till it's too late. Waiting too long has consequences, and when it comes to our soul, waiting too long has the eternal consequence that will cast us into the eternal torment of darkness. So consider these thoughts. That's our lesson for today. Very simple lesson. And we hope and pray that you'll be having a blessed day today. Take the opportunity to do something for God and share a gospel message with somebody. Share it on Facebook. I mean, that's honestly, that is one of the easiest things you can do, is get on and just, I mean, if nothing else, just explain the plan of salvation and share it with your friends and let them see that. Put Bible verses on, because we do not know. We're planting seed. That's how you need to look at it. We're planting seeds, and hopefully it'll fall on someone's heart that they will respond and they will be obedient to the Lord because of your actions. That's how you produce fruit, folks. And as we've said many times, if you don't produce fruit for God, you're going to be numbered with the transgressors, and you'll be cast into the fire. So consider those thoughts. That's our lesson. Have a good, blessed day, and Lord willing, we'll see you again tomorrow. All right, bye-bye for now.